What's up, guys? I'm Shreya Sada, and I'm here with my guy, Carter Stanley. It's another episode of Rock Chalk Film Room. It's a fun, special episode. Kansas plays Kansas State. They look to end a 16-game losing streak to K-State, but the first time ever in a long time, really, since 2009, Kansas is favored in this game. And I think it's an important game for both sides. Kansas obviously needs closer to bowl eligibility, but this is the last ever game for Jalen Daniels as a Kansas quarterback against K-State. And on the flip side, K-State needs this game to kind of get its season back on track like they have done so far a little bit this year. But I think the biggest thing going into this game, we were talking about it beforehand, is KU's run defense, which has been really suspect at different times this year, is probably going to be really tested against this K-State offense.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be crucial. I think when you look at K-State, what they've been able to do this year and really previous years dating back to even Bill Snyder days, they've been able to run the football really well, whether that's their quarterback. They always seem to have a mobile dual threat quarterback, but, also running backs that run it well. And, offensive line does a great job of creating those holes. So, I think this first clip we have here against Arizona a couple of weeks ago, Arizona really did a good job of stopping the run against K-State in this game. And, I think it's kind of coach speak and key words to say it's gap discipline and containing, but, it really is so crucial against K-State because what you'll see here is they got a 5-man front, really gap sound, and then 25, the corner here, he's the contained player. If you're looking at that, there's just really nowhere for Dylan Edwards, the running back, who's really explosive to go. So, I think KU just all about gap integrity, having that contained player and just being in the right position.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Dylan Edwards. I think Kansas might be able to catch a little bit of a break. Obviously, you don't wish injuries on anybody, but it looks like he's doubtful to play this game. It's unclear if he'll play or not. I know Chris Klieman was saying that, it would be kind of a bonus if he plays. But regardless who K-State has at running back, they also have Avery Johnson, who has wheels. And Kansas has really struggled to contain dual threat quarterbacks, but they've also just struggled to contain the run game period. They're averaging almost 188 yards a game, opposing teams putting up on them, and almost 2 touchdowns a game. But the most interesting to me was I asked Coach Lance Leipold about what is the issues you see with the run game defense. And he pretty much mentioned everything you don't want to hear. Bad angles, missed tackles, gap integrity not being great, communication lacking. He says it's usually a combination of those different things in why KU's been having these big explosive plays happen against them time and time again. I mean, you remember the Texas Tech game. First play of the game for Texas Tech, they run up the gut for a 75-yard touchdown. You just can't have that in a game like this where every single point, every single snap matters.
Yeah, no doubt. It's, I think with that last play, it was another kind of key factor where, early downs, if we could get tackles for losses, it's 2nd and 12, like that clip showed, or, maybe first down, they get 4 yards, but then 2nd and 6, you get another stop for a loss, and it's 3rd and long, putting them in those passing down situations. That's where I think it's going to be advantageous for KU, just kind of minimizing the yardage on those 1st and 2nd down kind of obvious run down situations. Because, it's this clip actually here, it shows lack of gap discipline and contain. You got 12 personnel, same as the first clip, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, but they're going to have 3 wide receivers out to the right, attached tight end, even the running back off to the right. So I think Army just kind of doesn't do a great job of respecting the fact that they could still run to this backside, which they do. They do a little pin and pull here with both the right guard and right tackle pulling backside. And, obviously a huge gap here. If running back is able to stay in bounds, that's, looking at a 30-yard gain. So really, again, just gap discipline. Ideally, you like to see that safety come down in the box and be – more within the sticks and in a good spot to make that play.
Yeah, I mean, you played against K-State a lot, obviously, in your time at Kansas. When you look back at those games, when you think about those games, what do you think the biggest difference was between those teams that, you guys and them?
I think they more consistently executed the little things, whether that's linemen consistently being able to, win on their blocks, or, defensively just not busting. And, I think they've just been more consistent over the years, to be honest with you, because I think there's been a number of times where KU has had a more talented roster and better playmakers. But, I think K-State just kind of consistently wins in the small things and the details. So that's, to this point, it's all about us being within the details and gap integrity and being sound. And, you never know when that one play is going to be. If you blow an assignment one play, it could turn into, 60, 70-yard touchdown run. So, I think it just being technically sound, that's going to be key here.
No, I completely agree. I feel like you need to have, if you're Kansas, the best tackling day it's had all season. You need it in this game, because when you go back and watch the last couple of years' games, it was mistakes made on the defense and offensive end that really cost them, right? And you can't have that against K-State because they just don't make a lot of mistakes.
Right.
Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Always appreciate you guys watching and commenting and giving us love. Should be a fun game. I think Kansas comes out with a victory for the first time in a long time. What do you think, Carter?
Man, I hope so. It would be great to see, in Lawrence. Definitely going to be a great atmosphere. And, I think if KU could just do the little things right, be detail-oriented, especially on that defensive side of the ball, we could be looking at, streak being over, hopefully, and, a little storm in the field. Hopefully that 100K doesn't put any dent in the stadium renovations, but no, I think it should be a good game, and definitely looking forward to it on Saturday.
Absolutely. Should be a fun one.